What's up, YouTube? This is Jason from Team Nirvana coming back at you guys with another deck profile. So today we're going to be talking about or discussing another deck, which is pretty much going to be Dragon Empire again. So I'm sensing a theme with that one, but hear me out. We're going to be talking about the face of Dragon Empire now, which is the big chicken or whatever that thing is, and we're talking about none other than Nirvana. So sorry about pronouncing that right. I should be pronouncing it right. So this card came out in the trial deck. So when it first came out, I thought, okay, so we lost all the dragon identity and we ended up getting this, which is the chicken. I thought, okay, this deck's probably gonna be trash. But out of the box, this deck was competing with the other big two decks that were out there, which was Bastion and Bruce. And this is like one of the decks that I could call it you could literally call it tempo if you want to. If you think about it that way, it could be aggressive, it could be defensive. It pretty much has everything in that one little card, and I didn't really think that this card was gonna be that good, but I was proven wrong. So for today, we're gonna be discussing my deck list, what I'm playing in my deck. Let me know. Pretty much, you can let me know what you guys think I should change or whatever many changes you guys think I should make. But also, before we do start the deck profile, I also want to let you guys know if you could take that time to hit that subscribe button. Hit at the end of the video if you like the content. Press that like button and comment down below if you think something needs to be changed in the deck. So on to the deck profile. So of course we're gonna be starting with the Nirvana's ride line. So these are pretty much the cards that came for Nirvana. These are pretty much from the trial deck. So they came as foils and SPs and good and that good stuff. You got to get the SPs because they're relatively cheap. So why not? So the first card we're going to be looking at, which is the Sunrise Egg. So pretty much starter. It really does nothing much, but if you go to second, you get to draw a card. So maybe when the game starts getting a little bit more pretty much a little bit more competitive, they'll probably start giving us a little bit more cards with effects, with starters with effects. Probably. Maybe. Alright, so we're going to be jumping to the grade 1. So this grade 1 is what you write on top. The Sunrise Egg. So our ability is, for those who don't know, when it's rained upon by Blast Maiden Regal, which is a grade 2 right here, you get to search your deck for a Trickstar. And the Trickstar is pretty much the main bread and butter of the deck. You need to get them. The second ability she has is this is a Vanguard Rearguard ability. During the battle that this unit attacked, this unit gets plus 2k. So pretty much it's a 10k. Pretty much a 10k beater or a booster. So usually you really don't get it on boosters, but it's there if you need it. And then we're going to jump on to the grade 2, which is the grade 2 that you write on top of Reno. So her ability is also, when she gets rated up by Nirvana, you get to Soul Blast one, search your deck for one Verena, and reveal it, and add it to your hand and shuffle your deck. So pretty much is another way to thin out your deck. You get to search for at least one Overdress card early, and so you can start with your strategy, if just in case you didn't get one, but pretty much the whole deck's... you can literally say like 70 or 80% of the deck is Overdress cards, so it is unlikely that you're not going to draw them. And then she has a secondary ability, and this is a continuous Vanguard Rearguard ability. During the turn this unit attacked, it gets plus 2k, so it pretty much is a 12k attacker off the rip. So, and then we're going to be jumping to like the big boss of the deck. So this is the boss of the deck, pretty much what holds everything, the whole deck together. So he also has two different abilities. The first ability is an axe skill. You can discard a card from your hand and then choose a 0 from your drop zone and call it to rearguard. So pretty much with that skill, you can literally discard a card from your hand just to get the Trickstar back if your Trickstar is in the drop zone. Or it literally doesn't specifically say Trickstar. You can literally get another 0 back from your drop zone onto your field, but why would you? You can always get the Trickstar back, so just to overdress again. And then the secondary ability is an auto skill. So when this unit attacks, you can Counter Blast 1, and all units within the Overdress state, or with the Overdress ability, gains plus 10,000. So pretty much, just be aware that this is now once per turn. So if you hit the over trigger and re-stand him up again, you have the Counter Blast, you can redo it again. So it doesn't really say you can't do it for the once per turn. So I think for just the top effect right here, I think this makes the deck a lot more viable because most of the time when they attack your Overdress state cards, you lose your Trickstar, and this literally lets you get them back any point in time when you need them, without having to wait until you either draw into it or do something else to search for or anything like that. So pretty much, this card is a little bit strong. It's strong for what it makes to help the deck does or do. And then we're gonna be jumping to the grade 3s. So the other grade 3s we're playing in the deck, and we literally have to play a playset of Nirvana because this is pretty Persona Ride still a thing, and you still want to Persona Ride and get the 10k and draw a card, and you have to write a copy himself to do so. So he's still good at you have to play him as a playset. So you gotta play him at grade 3, three more of them to make a playset. And then the second card, the other grade 3 I'm playing in the deck, and this might vary from most people, other players. Some people play it, some people don't play him anymore, but I still play Valiant. So Valiant is a card that came in set 2, and it's pretty much a restander in the deck. So for those who don't, pretty much you guys probably know what he does already by now, but I'll just tell you guys what he does again. So first ability is an Overdress ability, Trickstar, or you can literally Overdress on top of a Trickstar with this card. And the 2 ability it has is Rear Guard. This unit gets plus 5k for each or original dress. So pretty much anything that's underhead, he gets 5k for it continuously. So during your opponent's turn and during your turn, whatever you overdress on top of it stays there. So pretty much, he's annoying because he pretty much can be sitting there at 23k the whole time during the turn, and your opponent can't just literally swing into it. They have to either commit more or try to retire it, which most people would just ignore it until they can figure out another way to get rid of it, but most of the time not really. And then the second ability it has is an auto ability, and this is a once per turn ability. When this unit's attack hits, if this unit is in the Overdress when this unit attacks hit in the Overdress state, you can counterblast 1, discard a card from your hand, and restand this up. So right there, the keyword restand this card. This is pretty much a pressure card. So most of the time they're not gonna let it hit, but it does 2 things for you. They're not gonna want to let it hit, so you have to guard for it. The second thing is it's a 23k beat stick on board at every single turn. So why not have it? And I see a lot of people don't play him anymore, but because of what set 2 that came out, and I think he's still a good card to play. And the other card I'm playing in the deck, and this is where we pretty much get a little bit weird with with Nirvana, and this is the Monk. This came in set 2. So he has 2 pretty much 1 ability and all. So pretty much the auto ability is at the end of turn this unit attacked, you can counterblast 1, soul blast 1, choose one of your opponent's front row rear guards and retire it. So pretty much after it attacks, you swing and you get to pop one of your units on board. And then if you have if your Vanguard is Nirvana, you can choose up to 1 0 card from your drop zone and call it to rear guard. So for right there, it literally tells you I'm gonna swing and I'm gonna replace something with myself. So pretty much you can literally swing and then pop one of your opponent's rear guards, making sure that they can't intercept or do anything crazy like that, or some annoying card that was on board and you weren't able to get rid of it, but now you have a way. And then you get to call another card on top of it. So pretty much, usually what you would do is you would swing with it. Pretty much you would swing with it, then counter blast, soul blast, then you will call pretty much a Trickstar on top of it. So for Trickstars, this is what Trickstar looks like. You would call it on top of it. So this is where Overdress pretty much takes off. So after you call it, you get to call it to rear guard. You get to then pretty much proceed with your turn. And then now we're jumping to grade 2. So the grade 2s, we're talking about a card that came in set 2. And this is the new card that came that literally gave Nirvana the ability to attack multiple times in 1 turn. So this is pretty much where the 5 attack Nirvana comes from. So this card has 2 abilities. The first ability is, this is from hand. At the end of your Trickstar attack the Vanguard, if your Vanguard Nirvana, you can Soul Blast 2 cards, and you can Overdress this card from your hand and stand the unit and then counter charge. So pretty much, it lets you, after your Trickstar swings, you get to Overdress on top of it and Soul Blast 2 cards from your soul and then restand this card up. And the second ability it also has is that this is a continuous ability. So this is rear guard or guardian circle. If this unit is in overdress state, this unit gets 1000 power and 1000 shield. So this this is really good because it does pretty much the same thing as the other grade 3. So it's a 20k during both players' turn, like this one. So the ability does not stop. So pretty much this is like a 15k if you need it to be. So I like this one because it's pretty much on during my turn and my opponent's turn, it's a 20k body. So most of the time it's very hard to get rid of 20ks unless their opponents really come in and try to kill it, or they have other ways to get it by retired or something like that. But most time none, they really just ignore it because they know you're gonna redo it again. So it's really a good card. You have to play it a playset in the deck. And the other card that we dropped down to 2, and this was one of the cards that came in the trial deck from the set. So this is Verena. Verena is one of those cards that lets you retire anything on board, and it also it's an overdress card also. So the ability for it is when it attacks and it's in overdress states, so it has to attack a Vanguard. This unit gets plus 10,000 until the end of that battle, and then you can soul blast 2 cards and then choose one of your opponent's rear guards and retire it. So pretty much there's another way to get to interact with your opponent board if they have something on board you want to get rid of, but they're gonna guard for it. This already fixes your problem right there. And on top of it, the cool part about it also, you have to attack. When you attack, you don't have to activate the secondary skill to get the soul blast. Just get 10k's or 20k beat stick, a 20k body, and then if you do Nirvana skill, it's a 30k beat stick. So really good card. We were playing at 4 when the trial deck came out, but now with all the other overdress card we just got, we had to drop it down to 2. And this is where the deck gets a little bit weird. Not really weird, and this is where I think the tempo of this deck comes out. And this is another overdress card that came in set 1 that came out. So this is Verena or Arch or whatever they call it. So it's an overdress card also. So it pretty much has a simple ability. So when you overdress this card, when it's placed on rear guard and no overdress state, you can counter blast 1 and draw 2 cards, and this unit gets plus 5k. So right there, counter blast 1 card, and you have to be in overdress state, but you get to draw 2 cards right there. So pretty much you get plus, for 1 counter blast, you plus yourself 2 cards. So this is where the tempo of this deck come in, because if you're running low on cards, you can literally overdress this card and just give yourself more cards in hand. So that's where I think where Nirvana is so resilient, because being able to draw cards for free without doing anything is really cool. And you have to play that playset. And then we're gonna jump to grade 1s. The grade 1s we're talking about, we're not really talking about. It's pretty much a perfect guards, a new perfect guard from set 1. If you're not playing perfect guards in this deck, I don't know what you're doing. So you definitely have to play 4 perfect guards because you need them. And then the other grade 1 I'm playing, in this deck, and this is from also set 2. So this one is pretty much a little cool card that came in the set. So when you discard this card when this card is discarded from your hand during your turn, you may put this card into soul. So pretty much if you're, like, when you're starting to ride up, you can literally discard this card to build up soul so that you can be able to use the grade 2, which is Verena Aries, or something like that. If I'm sorry I'm pronouncing it wrong. It helps you build the soul because of that. Because before, when Nirvana was pretty much before this card came out, Nirvana really had a problem with soul, because the other Verena was Soul Blast 2 when it attacked, and eventually you ran out of soul. This card literally helps you build up a little bit more soul early, so that way you always have enough soul to be able to do the other Verena if the need arises. So which is cool. You have to play them. I was trying to play it at 4, but I think 3 is good enough for me. So you can literally play it at 4 if you decide to. And the other grade 1 I'm playing, and this is another Battle Maiden. This is pretty much there for Trickstar. It really does nothing else besides that. So it's a continuous ability. During the battle this unit attacked, or during the battle that this unit boosted a 0, this card gets plus 5k. So pretty much it's a 13k booster. With Trickstar, it makes Trickstar a 28k booster, or 28k attacker, and pretty much nothing really changes. It does, just remember, it does it for all 0s. So if you play like a trigger, if you need to push that game, you need to put a trigger down, you can literally put it in front of it. It's an 18k beat stick, so why not? And the other card, we're going to start with zeros, and this is Trickstar. So Trickstar is what keeps this. This is pretty much the body of the deck. You need Trickstar to overdress or do anything. So this is where all the skills come. Pretty much he's very easy to get out early because you get one in hand. I've seen people play it as their starter, but I really don't like doing that because if I go second, I want to get that extra draw if needs to be. And he also has an ability where he can't be chosen by your opponent's card effect. So pretty much, he was disgusting against Surf Snow because they would just play all of them on board, and then Surf Snow couldn't get anything in prison because it needs to target something to put in prison. This card literally can't be targeted. You can't retire him. You literally have to swing into him. Most of the time, they're not gonna waste attack for him. So he's really good. So 4 of them. Maybe until we get another Trickstar. Nah. Hint. Like, oh, by the way, I feel like this card is, if you guys play V Premium or an EG Premium, this is pretty much Chronodran, if you think about it that way. And eventually he's going to evolve into Chronojet or whatever other evolutions get. He got into Valiant is his other evolution, but we'll see what set 3 shows for his 3rd evolution. And then we're going to jump to zeros. So zeros, I'm playing 4 heals. You got to play 4 heals in the deck because you need to heal. For criticals, I'm playing 5 criticals in the deck. Reasons why, because I'm playing other cards. Pretty much that's the reason why. I haven't really found any more space to put any more crits. And I think if you could decide whether you can play more crits. You can play 8 crits in the deck if you decide to. 7 crits or anything else. But there's other cards I'm playing and you'll see them why. And then we're playing 3 draws. I'm playing draws in this deck even though we're drawing technically a lot with the other Verena. But I think draw triggers are still good in the deck because it helps you get to your pieces more likely. And hitting a defensive draw and then draw an extra card just so you can be able to guard opponent's attack is really good, and I think 3 is good enough. And then this is where some of my crits came out. I'm playing this is from set 2. This is the front that came in set 2. So I'm literally playing it. Before I wasn't really playing it because there was no point to have fronts because Nirvana gave the front row 10k every single time, and front row didn't do anything. The reason I'm playing this one is because it's a 20k shield. So if your opponent's at grade 3, it automatically gets 5k, so it's a 20k shield. So that's pretty much why. And I think most people are playing that one now. And then we're going to be jumping to the over trigger for Dragon Empire. So this over trigger is one of the good cards. I think it's probably another good card from the over triggers that we got so far. It pretty much has a simple effect. When you trigger it, you get to restand your Vanguard. And your Vanguard gets to attack again. And then you get to choose something to get 1 million power to, and then draw a card. So simple skill, but very scary, especially when you're at 5 damage and your opponent hit that over trigger and knowing the fact they're gonna attack again. And you're pretty much gonna burn half your hand just trying to keep yourself alive. So yeah. So this is pretty much Nirvana deck. This deck is really good and very, very resilient. It is one of those decks that's the most, for me, every time I play against it, I feel like my opponent is, when I think I'm about to win, my opponent always seems to find a way to survive. Big example, Venix. He plays his deck religiously. And no matter you might think you might win that game, and next turn on his turn he just gets a whole hand fist full of cards again, and then you're like, okay, so I'm right back where I started. So this deck is one of the good decks that's pretty much competing with Bastion and Bruce. I think this is like a third on 3rd place also, besides Orpheus and all the other ones. So if you're gonna play this deck, I'm not gonna say it, but you might want to SP it too because they're very cheap right now to get. So let me know what you guys think of this deck. If you think anything needs to be changed, let me know. I know some people might argue that I should play more of these, but I think 2 for me is good enough because I like the other variant, Valiant in there because it's another pressure card for me. So you can literally come up with any different builds you feel like building. But this is pretty much my deck. So just as always, all the decks, the picture of the deck will be on our Twitter page. So you can always follow us at Twitter. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, hit that bell button whenever we put new videos up. So you can comment down below. This is Jason from Team Nightwright signing out. And thanks for watching.